Hello and welcome to the show. So, for my car build series, I'm going to be trying something a bit different. The rally car builds around Blizzard Mountain was okay. I haven't really been getting the views that I wanted from it, and I fancied a change. So what we're going to be doing is building some hill climb monsters. We're going to be taking on the Devil's Hill Climb corners that kind of starts off over here and winds its way all the way up to the top of the mountain. An incredibly technical hill climb, and we're going to be taking some S1 cars. Yes, these are likely to be pretty damn brutal machines. However, I do wonder if going for all the crazy power cars like we did with the Reservoir Trail probably not going to work as well here. The Reservoir Trail, you are often averaging 120 plus miles an hour. I don't know if we're going to hit 120 full stop on this course, so it should make for quite an interesting challenge with these cars. And naturally, we need a benchmark. What better vehicle to start with than a Lancia Delta S4? Now, this one has been slightly modified. It has got much larger tyres on the vehicle. It's got 315s at the back. I think it's 275s, might even be bigger than that at the front. So, yeah, pretty damn sizable tyres. It's got slightly better brakes and has got slightly lighter driveline. Everything else jumps the PI up into S2 class. There's only about 3 engine upgrades that each add like 80. I think the turbos are 150, the other stuff adds 80 horsepower each. So, yeah, it's got some pretty big tyres. It's still got nearly 500 horsepower in this vehicle, and it weighs just 2,000 pounds, which means power to weight ratio pretty impressive. And as benchmarks go, this might be quite a tough one to beat. Now, much like we had before with our point-to-point rally stage, I'm going to get 3 runs with each of the cars, which means we're going to have 3 runs with our Lancia here to set the benchmark time, if we can hopefully get the camera into the interior view. Now, I have done a few practice runs just so that I learn this course a little bit. I have driven it a few times in the past. It is, without a doubt, one of my favourite hill climb circuits. It's also a very nasty challenge for cars, especially vehicles that aren't necessarily ideally suited to some off-roading in the snow. The Lancia, of course, perfectly happy to be tackling this kind of terrain, although we are running a little bit wide through there. Don't go out and visit the wall. That would not be a particularly clever thing to do on our opening run. There's a lot of acceleration zones around this first part, which for the high-powered cars will be good, but then there's a lot of very tight corners, and the high-powered cars will probably be very heavy and not necessarily so good through the turns. Yeah, trying to find a balance for this course. I think it's going to be interesting, trying to see which cars work, whether it is still all about who can get the most power at S1 class, or whether the very technical elements of this circuit give issues for the likes of the Ram Runner or the Ford Woody, that style of car that will easily get 1,000 horsepower into it. This turn here is a really nasty bugger. We will get around there. Okay, we're going to not quite wander off towards the rocks out there. There's a little bit of banking on the next corner that is quite nice. You can sort of throw the car through. This turn here always... Oh, have we got the checkpoint there? I think we have. Always feels a little bit more open than it actually is. Then we have an ice slalom that's it's a horrible thing. Have to try and go through a little bit too much speed on the way in. Thought I could get away with it. Had to have a big lift through that corner, and now we're up towards the final section. Very tight, very slow speed part of the course. Run towards the line. It's going to be a 1:59.9 from the Lancia. Whew. Okay, that's a good first run. I'm liking that first run. I don't actually know if I can go any quicker than that. However, I will take that as an opening time. So, it is on to our second run with... Oh, we've been visited by the ghost cars already. I saw that Lancia in the distance, just wandering down the road, as they do. Ghost Lancias like to wander around Blizzard Mountain. It is a common sight around this place. That was really nice through that first corner. It really get the car stopped. There is, not many courses that are quite as technical as this one. Horizon, oh, no, we've run very wide there. Now, we can cut back on the exit and try and fire the car out the corner, but I think we might be a little too late on the brakes. As I was saying before we ended up heading towards the wall, Horizon games in general like having quite wide, quite fast flowing roads. My best guess, I believe it would be done to allow the supercars and the hypercars to be driven at high speeds around the place. There is very little in the way of properly technical roads, and this is the closest thing that you really get to around here. Just looking at speeds, that might be the only place where you get up to 115 miles an hour in the Lancia. I don't think there's any longer straights than that one. We will have to wait and see. We have got a jump to worry about this time out. It's not the biggest of jumps. Ooh, we've caught that corner all horribly, horribly wrong. We just got spat out. I was trying to make the most of the banking and trying to carry as much speed as I can through there. It was too much. We got spat out of the banking, and that ruined all of the line completely. Around here, it's still trying to push my luck ever so slightly. With my Lancia. Now, the ice patch. I think there is an ice patch somewhere. Maybe there isn't an ice patch. Maybe it's just a bump there that throws the car around. Because it kind of feels like I lose control of the vehicle ever so slightly on my way through that corner. That was better. We didn't end up running towards the wall. Jump through the air we go. It's up to 100 miles an hour there, but it's not going to be any faster. So yeah, about 115 miles an hour is as quick as we get the car up to full stop around this course. What is it going to be? Hey, we've found a little bit of time. We've found out half a second. Surprised, actually, considering I went very, very explory. At one point, I am surprised to have found half a second. Well, things are going well. I think that we might be able to get into a 58 even with this car if we keep it out of the trees. And that is always, well, keep it out of the running wide. Also, I've smashed up the headlights. I'm not quite sure where from. I'm guessing the landing of the jumps. So it is on to the final run with our Lancia. We have again been visited by the ghost of Lancia Past, and we're going to try and get into the 58. Or I might break a tad early on the run into this first corner, although it was very neat through there. There's slightly different lines you can try and take through these hairpins. Oh, we have clonked the wall on the exit as I'm trying to be a little bit brave. I've got to be brave. I've got to try and find some time. The first two runs have been very, very good with this car. I am wondering how difficult that is going to beat with subsequent cars. Of course, you don't want to make things too easy, like we had with the Quattro, where it is, just not competitive enough to be a sensible benchmark. This might be a tough benchmark to go faster than around a course like this. Let's face it, the S4 is ideally suited. However, I have been surprised by cars before. So yeah, this is the longest straight that we have. It's 116 miles an hour as I get on the brakes. I might be, I think, driving a little too ragged. I think I'm trying to push the car a little bit too hard, trying to make up that time. Although, then again, I didn't think the last run was particularly going to be that good, so we will have to wait and see, although that first gear there will not have helped. Damn it, chased down one too many through there. We're going to throw it through this next corner, try and find some traction. There we go. That rock is going to claim a car, although, to be fair, I say that rock is going to claim a car. I always thought the Polestar rock was going to claim a car on the other circuit, and it never ever did, so we will have to wait and see. Still trying to figure out if there is... Maybe there is ice. Oh, bumpy, bumpy, bumpy. Less fun through there. We have got mega, mega speed, though, this time around. That's 90 miles an hour held through that corner. 102 as we leave the jump. That might be the jump, actually, that's smacking up the front of the car. Oh, could not get turned very well through there. Throw it through the last part of the course. It's not going to be quicker this time around, though. It's 2:02, slowest time of the lot. Yeah, I think I threw it too hard at the course. Trying to make up some time. Well, we have a benchmark. We have a benchmark that I think is going to be a bloody tough one. We will see, though, if anything can go faster. Now, the Lancia's first challenger is going to be a Lotus Exige. Yes, it is going to be very light, and on tarmac is a very good handling car. However, how on earth is it going to fare when it comes to rallying? Now, rules for this series going to be much along the lines of the Reservoir Trail, really. All the cars are going to be converted to all-wheel drive. Gives everybody a chance of fighting at the very top, especially on a hill climb course as skiddy as the one that we are tackling. The cars are going to keep their standard engines unless they can't get to the top of S1 class. There are times at which engine swaps, in fact, engine swaps are on the most part better in terms of PI. However, yeah, if a car can get to the top of S1 class with its standard engine, I am going to use it. Otherwise, everything is going to end up running probably the same engine or very, very similar engines. So to give it a bit of variety, yeah, if their standard engines can, then they will. Of course, the vehicles are going to run off-road suspension and snow tyres. It's a given at this circuit that they will, and this is going to jump our PI up massively. Well, yeah, relatively massively, it will tend to. We're going to run as big a tyres as possible as well. 285s on the rear of the Lotus. Actually expecting a little bit bigger, but there we go, 235s at the front. We're also likely to be running Forza Aero. We'll probably be running Forza Aero with everything, unless the car, for whatever reason, can't. It has its own wings, etc. So yeah, we will have Forza Aero on the car. What does this have? Oh, this has rally lights, doesn't it? Of course, we must have rally lights. We must have rally lights on our car when available. And that is a fair bit of our PI gone already. What we do regarding weight and so on is an interesting question. Whether we go for weight reduction or whether we go for power on a course like this. So weight reduction will be able to get through the corners a little bit quicker, but with more power, perhaps we'll be able to get out of them. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which way we want to go with the cars here. Maybe sort of a mix, I think. We're going to go some weight reduction and then fill it full of power. Yeah, I think that's what we will go for. We will try and get weight-saving bits on the engine as and where we can. The Lotus, I didn't know the Lotus was supercharged. I'll be honest in that one. That is, yeah, I didn't. I guess that makes sense for why it's the Exige S. The S actually stands for something, rather than just, you know, a letter they add at the end of a name to make it sound impressive. There is actually a reason behind it. It looks like we're going to be having fairly similar power to the Lancia by the time we are finished with this car. I'm guessing we're not going to be able to get... Oh, we can get that on. Yeah, we're actually going to be quite similar in terms of power and torque. However, we are going to be a little bit... I say a little bit heavier. We're going to be like 400 pounds heavier than the Lancia. I think this is probably the best way of going with the Exige. Well, I guess we could stuff on something like this that will give us over 500 horsepower, but does add a little bit of weight. What I might try is, if we do that, can we now be sneaky and bugger? It was worth a go. I don't think we can be sneaky and find a way of dropping any more weight out of it. I think I will keep with the power. We'll kind of see how it goes, really, with the Exige. No, I really can't be sneaky at all. There's no way of getting it down. 505 horsepower, 406 torque. It is, yeah, a little bit heavier than the Lancia, although, of course, it's still very, very light in terms of cars that'll probably go in this series at £2,500. So, yeah, let's see how our Exige manages. So the Lotus is ready to tackle the Devil's Corners hill climb. 1:59.1 is the time to beat for our Exige. I've no idea whether it's going to be remotely close or not. I think perhaps fairly similar in terms of the... potentially, at least statistic-wise. Lancia does have bigger tyres and is a little bit lighter, but we do know just how composed the Exige is, and it is looking pretty damn good. Even out here on the snow, the front end of the car has got an excellent amount of grip through what it did have through the first corners. Through there, not so much. Don't know what I did wrong there. I did something wrong there, though, because we got a million miles of understeer, and we found it a little bit again through the next corner. Okay, it was the first couple of corners, it was excellent, and then it's all got a little bit downhill. Never mind. We shall throw the car around and see what we can find later on. This is perhaps one of the first times, I think, where the benchmark car will have had larger tyres than quite a few vehicles that are going to go, and certainly larger tyres than they have on the Exige. A lot of the pre-built cars, certainly when I'm using rally cars, we're struggling to get turned there. A lot of the rally championships and so on, their cars will have a fixed tyre size, and the cars that are into here have got relatively relatively small tyres, like the Focus Rallycross, for example, only has 225s around it, which is, yeah, not particularly massive, not compared to what some of the cars will run. So it is definitely advantage Lancia at the moment in some respects. Yeah, the Exige is really good through those first couple of corners, and then it's kind of all gone away a little bit. I wonder if the first few turns were slightly banked, and the Exige can make the most of them quite nicely. Elsewhere, it might struggle just a little bit, as we're now going to bump our way. Oh dear, ouch, that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt indeed. We have, the ice has claimed its first victim. Did not take long at all for the Lotus to get into trouble. Careful now on the landing of that jump. That's a horrible, horrible bump when you're not in a purpose-built rally car. The Exige is going around the final corner. We are a fair way off on this opening run. Was it 204? Yeah, 204.9 from the Lotus. We can do better though. We can definitely do better. So, as we head on to our next run, there is a ghost something crashed. Was that? I think that was an RS200, I'm not sure. We've been visited by another ghost car, perhaps that, another Group B ghost car. Perhaps that shall bring our Lotus. I know why the car's good here, I've just figured it out. Why the car is really good through these opening couple of corners, because this is snowy tarmac and then we go onto snowy dirt and then all of the goodness goes away. That would explain lots. That would explain lots. I think this might be far, far faster than the Lancia through those opening two turns, but once we get off the snowy, icy tarmac and onto the actual full-on dirt, the Lotus is less happy, and it is surprising in some ways to me that it's just massive amounts of understeer that the Exige is getting. Oh, that's a little bit of a funky line to be taking. Not quite where I wanted to be going with my Lotus, but never mind. We will eventually. Come on, get that front end through the corner. Try and get on some power. Now, I don't think we have the straight line speed of the Lancia. That was up to 116 miles an hour. It's not far off though. It's only 3 miles an hour down. Although we can't get turned in the same way as the Delta. It's not that far off in terms of acceleration, which is not bad going. You always like to see that. And the brakes are pretty damn good on the Exige. Come on, get around that corner. It's really just the understeer that's killing the car, I think. Ooh, little bit of a jump up there. Maybe we'll make it around the corner and boot it out the other side again. Still try. That's a bit better line through there. Again, if we can get a little bit of banking on the corners, we're not too bad. Now, where is the ice patches down here that we've got to be very careful of? The Lotus did not like driving across them last time out. Yeah, we just can't get on the throttle in the same way. I'm trying to stamp on the throttle, but I can't in the same way that you could with the Delta, but it really, really does not like the landing of that jump. Let's face it, this is not exactly a car designed to go rallying. It's perhaps not too surprising, although that was nice around those final corners. Much better, 202 from the Lotus. Yeah, not designed to be landing. They're not the heaviest of jumps, not the heaviest of landings, but still, it is an Exige. Yeah, 202.1. So we've got 3 seconds to try and find if we want to get near the Delta. And I do think 3 seconds might be a little bit too much. It is an RS200 that is crashed into the wall on the inside, or outside, sorry. Yeah, 3 seconds is quite a lot of gap to try and find, I think, up this course. I will give it a damn good go. Oh, the Lotus is so nice around that icy tarmac corner. That is so good. Kind of a shame the rest of the course, it does not have that lovely, lovely turn-in. Because, yeah, then we start struggling massively with understeer through these corners. Come on, try again. I'm trying to get on the throttle as soon as I can out of these, but we're just understeering off either towards the concrete barrier or off towards a snowbank, and neither is a particularly inviting prospect. Let's maybe not dump the car down the side of the cliff. Again, that's another place I think I might end up pushing a car too much at some point and ending up taking a little bit of a visit. We're still understeering out of that hairpin. Then we have a little bit of a... Well, it's kind of a wiggle. We could just sort of straight line it. It's 114 miles an hour from the Exige. We do get stopped better this time. That's definitely, we're definitely smoother through that section, which is always good. First of the jumps, actually better across that jump than it is across the later one. Now I'm trying not to, again, understeer out too wide on the exit while still maintaining decent enough quarter speed. Oh, across that crest in a little bit of an interesting manner, but it is all still controlled, just about controlled from the Exige, although maybe not so much over there. I'm not sure we wanted to be heading out that far on the exit of the corner. Trying to be as brave as I dare with our Exige here. The bumps are horrible. Try and get the car turned. That's much more like it. That's much more like it indeed from the Lotus. Now, soar through the air, and we actually get a good landing as well this time around. Although, yeah, we just can't get the front end turned in through any of those corners. We can be neat as tidy as we like around that section, and it will be a personal best. We get it into the 201s from the Lotus, 201.8. That was with a little bit running wide, although very, very quick through the ice patch. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's not actually a bad for a sports car. Let's not forget here at all that is a sports car that has gone, well, within 3 seconds of a Lancia Delta S4. You know, one of the best, well, technically the best Group B rally car, but unfortunately Group B was cancelled before it won anything. But, yeah, to have gone that close to the Lancia, I think is a very, very good showing from the Lotus. On the opening couple of corners where it's the snowy tarmac, it is absolutely glorious, and then we struggle with some understeer from, from whenever we hit the dirt, basically. But, yeah, a good time from the Lotus, and a good car to drive up this hill climb course. But Lancia is going to stay at the top of the table for now. The benchmark, as I said, I think that benchmark is going to be a tough one. A tough one to get close to. I'm interested to see what cars will run quickly up this course, whether just sheer brute power will do the trick, or whether we're really going to be wanting handling cars. Hopefully shall be intriguing. However, that is going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.